Hello there, welcome to CoreTV News for this hour. I am Gete. Ayuba Waba of the Medical and Health Workers Union has won the keenly contested Nigeria Labour Congress elections and has been formally inaugurated as new NLC president. He beat the only other contestant, Joseph Ajeru of the National Union of Electricity Employees, with 495 points to achieve the feat. The announcement is coming almost 72 hours after the Nigeria Labour Congress reconvened its 11th Delegates Electoral Conference. Other members of the new Labour leadership are 3 Deputy President Peter Adeyemi, National Association of State Universities, Kiri Mohammed, Nigerian Civil Service Union, and Najim Yassin, National Union of Road Transport Workers. Also elected are 3 Vice Presidents: Oyelekan Latif, National Association of Food, Beverages and Tobacco Employers; Amechi Asuguni, National Union of Civil Engineering and Construction; and Dutsumi Lawal, National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. President Goodluck Jonathan says he has neither spoken with King Mohammed or told anyone that he had a telephone conversation with the Moroccan monarch. He has consequently ordered an investigation into claims that led to a diplomatic row between the two countries. This according to presidential spokesman Reuben Abati, because his principal was embarrassed by the controversy that erupted over whether or not he has spoken on the telephone with the king. He said in a statement that the president has asked the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Aminu Lawal Wali, to investigate the misinformation from his ministry with a view to unveiling the culprits and their motive. Abati said President Jonathan had been speaking with some African leaders to rally support for Nigeria's candidate for the position of President of the African Development Bank, AFDB. He noted that in continuation of efforts to drum up support for Minister of Agriculture, Akinwumi Adesina, President Jonathan indicated interest in speaking with the King of Morocco, the President of Algeria and that of Egypt. The presidential spokesman, however, noted that the president had not yet spoken with the King Mohammed and President al-Sisi of Egypt, a position he said the Foreign Ministry should have been aware of. The All Progressives Congress has called on President Goodluck Jonathan to apologize to Nigerians for the embarrassment he has caused them over his phantom phone conversation with the King of Morocco. In a statement in Lagos on Friday, the National Publicity Secretary of APC, Lai Mohammed, said, "In our earlier statement on the issue, we gave President Jonathan the benefit of the doubt by asking him to clarify what happened, just as the Moroccan king has done." APC argued that based on the antecedents of the Jonathan administration, which it said had little or no regard for the truth, it is safe to assume that the president did not hold any phone conversation with King Mohammed VI of Morocco. It added that the party will be glad if Jonathan could prove conclusively that he spoke with the king. APC noted that while its earlier measured statement was born out of patriotism rather than partisanship, the president's increasingly rapid leading attack dogs fleeted away the opportunity to convince Nigerians that his principal did not just conjure up the idea of speaking with the king. APC said the global opinion which the Jonathan administration has brought on Nigeria can only be imagined with the likes of Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe firing darts at Nigeria, which played a frontline role in his country's independence, and the militarized or less endowed neighboring countries belittling Nigeria's military despite its globally acclaimed role in the maintenance of peace and security in the sub-region. As Nigerians were greeted with endorsement of President Goodluck Jonathan by the national leadership of the Labour Party, the Ekiti State chapter of the Labour Party has dissociated itself from the endorsement. Speaking with some party chieftains in Ado-Ekiti, our correspondent Rashid finds out that most of the stalwarts and members of the party lay allegiance to Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele, the party's flag bearer at the June 21, 2014 governorship election in the state, who pitched his tent with the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammad Buhari. Rashid has more in this report.
As the national leadership of Labour Party joins the array of political parties endorsing the candidature of President Goodluck Jonathan, members of the party in Ekiti State are holding a distant view to this endorsement. According to this party chieftain, Biodun Borishade, the Ekiti State chapter is not in the know of any endorsement.
Every politics is local. With regards to Labour Party in Ekiti State, as at yesterday, 12 midnight, Labour Party had not informed of such decision about endorsing anybody, any of the candidates. Notwithstanding, individuals will remain individuals.
But to these staunch members of the party, the national leadership's decision to endorse Goodluck Jonathan was dismissed as they pitched their tent with the candidature of Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressives Congress through their allegiance to the party leader in Ekiti State, Opeyemi Bamidele.
Michael Opeyemi Bamidele has said that the Labour Party in Ekiti State is going to vote, or going to support Buhari for the presidential candidate. But as to us, we are not alienating ourselves from the party structure at the state level.
What Opeyemi Bamidele does, to me, I believe I can support his own side because it's my leader.
Ekiti State being controlled by the PDP and with the endorsement of the PDP presidential candidate by the Labour Party, Aborishade speaks on what is to be possibly expected at the general polls in Ekiti State.
We have one leader, we speak with one voice. Honorable Opeyemi Bamidele remains the Labour Party leader in Ekiti State. It will address us. Both APC and PDP will have the 25% that both parties, that the presidential candidates for both parties need. They will get it from Ekiti State. That I know.
With Ekiti Labour Party supporting Muhammadu Buhari, the March 28 poll will no doubt determine where the pendulum will swing. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, has appealed to Nigerians to salvage the future of the country from the failure of the People's Democratic Party government by voting him and other candidates of the party by the coming elections. Muhammadu Buhari made the appeal at a meeting with members of the National Association of Nigerian Students in Lagos. Abiola Oluwole's story is completed in our studios.
Students from across the southwestern part of the country converged in Lagos to interact with the APC presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari. The students kick-started the meeting by asking Buhari what his government would do differently if elected into office. Before the response of Buhari to the questions of the student leaders, National Chairman of the APC, John Odigwe Oyegun, and other stalwarts of the party say the purpose of the meeting was to spread the gospel of change Nigerians are yearning for.
Today, we stand in judgment over 16 years of PDP issue and 6 years of total backwards movement in every facet of our life. Have you decided to change that? Have you decided to change that?
If you agree that your country is not doing well and you want to change it, you know how momentous this opportunity is? I'm not sure if you are fully conscious of how big this moment is. It will be the first time that citizens of this country in 55 years will be changing a government that they do not like by themselves.
Afterwards, Buhari says if elected into office, his administration will provide leadership that will tackle the menace of corruption, insecurity, and economic mismanagement, which, according to him, are the bane of the country's development.
Economy, the country is destroyed. The security, the country is destroyed. But we still have a nation state. If we, as Nigerians, are correct, and this is what 28th of March and 11th of April are all about. Nobody is going to accept. No Nigerian should accept the extension of the voting day.
As political gladiators continue to win the support of the electorate, the expectation of average Nigerians, according to political analysts, is good governance irrespective of the party that emerges victorious at the polls.
A political group named Ibadan Patriotic Organization in Oyo State have pledged their support for a former governor of Oyo State and Labour Party governorship candidate Adebayo Alao-Akala. The group says their support for him is based on his past performance and office as governor of the state. Omotayo Alo completes the story.
In the lead to the fast approaching general elections, the political arena has witnessed more activities, and the eager electorate still bear the responsibility of deciding which candidate or party deserves their vote, adding their nods to that of previous supporters of an Adebayo Alao-Akala-led administration. Members of Ibadan Patriotic Organization say their endorsement of the candidate is not influenced by any economic gain, but the interest of the state and its future.
Today's endorsement of Otuba Alao-Akala has not to do with any pecuniary gain nor influence, but by sentiment of favoritism, but purely on facts and figures before us, which override any other interest whatsoever.
We saw the achievements, past achievements, when they are in governor last time. So that is why we use our club to endorse them.
Responding to the group's endorsement, the Director General Alao-Akala Campaign Organization, Kola Balogun, says the current experience of the people of Oyo State saddens his heart, ascribing it to poor governance and unequal distribution of wealth in the states.
Akala style of governance was given contract to local contractors, and they will go to Bagi, to election lawyer, to spend their profit in the market. So there was money in circulation. He was paying workers' salaries that went due. Workers will also go to the market and spend that money. So there was no capital flight. There's capital flight now. Most of the contractors are Lagos contractors, and they're sponsored by money. And of course, we can also have some Lebanese contractors who are also the king and kings of money.
To back up his endorsement, the Labour Party governorship candidate has not ceased conversing for the vote of Oyo residents to decide what his fate and that of all the governorship candidates will be after the poll. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
You're watching CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take a break. Please stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emotan of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical, women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News. Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. For more information on CoreTV News, you can reach us on our social media platforms on Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV News. Less than a month to the presidential election, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has challenged PDP governors to concentrate on how to win their different states instead of their continuous visits to Lagos. Fashola made the statement at the commissioning of a housing estate in Abijo, Ibejuleki area of the state. Abiola Lule's report is presented from our studios.
In a bid to further address housing deficit in the state, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has commissioned 324 units of 2- and 3-bedroom bungalows and duplexes at Ibejuleki area of the state. Before cutting the tape to signal the official opening of the estate, Fashola says the coming general elections will be a contest between the working models of the APC and that of the PDP. He, however, called on PDP governors to channel their attention to how to win their state for their party instead of the ceaseless visits to Lagos.
I hear that their governors came to Lagos. I hope that somebody took them across the Lekki Link Bridge, so that instead of waiting for the federal government to come and build the second Niger bridge, they should get up and go and do their own work. That bridge was built without a kobo from the federal government. I hope that somebody took them around our housing estate, so that they should get up and go and do some of what we are doing. I know they came for tutorial, but I hope that they learned the right things. It is too late. A presidential election is won and fought on the record of the incumbent over 6 years, not what he does in 4 weeks to the election. So they better go back to their states and go and make sure they deliver their states, because Lagos is gone. Lagos is decided. Lagos wants change. Change in Abuja.
The project is a public-private partnership.
Following a recent protest by carriers of the sickle cell strain in Benin City recently, the leadership of the People's Democratic Party in the state has assured them of the support of the party. State chairman of the party, Dan Obia, gave this assurance while making a donation to the group. He, however, urged them to vote for the PDP in the coming general elections. Our correspondent has more.
Following an earlier protest by carriers of the sickle cell strain in Benin City over what they described as the takeover of the only treatment by some officials of the state government and the continued neglect they suffer daily, the group and their relatives have taken again to the street. But the whole protest seems to have taken on a political dimension to it, with the intervention of the state chapter of the People's Democratic Party through its state executive led by Dan Obi. Speaking to the protesters, Obi urges them to free themselves of the threat posed by the state government to their continued existence.
Citizens of our state to champion the cause of supporting your association and all those who are presently suffering from sickle cell disease. What I've just given to you is just a token to assist those who are in their need of medication, who are currently going through crisis. I promise to do more by appealing to my friends and fellow party leaders to join me in supporting you.
Some of the protesters, however, called for the sack of the State Commissioner for Health.
The problem we have on ground now is it that we don't have a state government in this state again? Is there no mechanism of force in the government any longer? That people of this type will be suffering from alarming pains in the highest gravity. The pain a sickle cell sufferer receives is inexplicable.
With the new dimension the protest has taken, the reaction of the state government will go a long way in determining what happens next in this ongoing saga.
Independent National Electoral Commission INEC says 81.22% of registered voters have picked their permanent voter cards across the country as of Thursday, March 12. Latest figures released by the INEC spokesman Kadi Dow in Abuja showed that 55,904,272 eligible voters have collected their PVCs. A close look at the statistics indicates that Zamfara State has recorded a 95.97% rate of PVC collection, followed by Jigawa with 95.91% and Gombe with 95.50%. The figure from Lagos State shows that 64.71% of voters have collected their cards, while the FCT has 64.56%. There is, however, a marginal improvement in PVC collection in Ogun State, which is now close to the 50% mark with 49.45%. Or still on the EFCC, it has debunked claims by the All Progressives Congress that the presidency has rendered it powerless. It also denied that it is owing its operatives a 3-month backlog of wages. The FCC spokesman Wilson Onwojerin said at a news conference that there is no truth in claims that it had not secured high-profile convictions on the Jonathan administration. Marcelo Cavo has more in this report presented from our studios.
This media briefing, according to the EFCC spokesman, was to set the record straight. The agency saddled with fighting financial crimes was hit hard by the APC, which leveled allegations ranging from non-performance to non-payment of staff salaries. The party's presidential campaign spokesman Garba Shehu had accused EFCC of not recording any high-profile conviction under the present administration.
If EFCC was set up on the basis of a law formulated by the National Assembly, signed by the President of Nigeria, if only it would be allowed to operate without interference in accordance with the law, that would satisfy everyone. Now, the President's option is to do nothing about corruption. What is the alternative? He has no alternative to corruption being fought using the courts of law. The courts, he hasn't allowed it to function. EFCC is not working.
But the Commission is not prepared to be silent on issues raised by the APC campaign spokesman. It accused Shehu of nursing a grudge against the EFCC, as well as attempting to drag it into politics.
The reason why I'm making this briefing is to tell you that whatever he has said is a lie. And I think I've done that. Inviting Shehu is not on card now because we don't want to be dragged into politics, and that is the reason why I'm making this briefing. What he has done is to pitch the commission against the government, and it's a disservice to all Nigerians.
The anti-graft agency argued that its chairman, Ibrahim Lamurde, is a man of integrity without any dent on his reputation. The session also provided an opportunity for the EFCC to set the record straight on the war against graft.
EFCC in 2013 recorded 117 convictions. That went up in 2014 to 126 convictions. And any of you who are familiar with the processes in court knows what it takes for you to get a conviction, even in a 419 case. Cases can drag for years in the court. So regardless of the profile of the individual involved, you look at what does it take to achieve conviction. How many law enforcement agencies in Nigeria can boast of that record? And in law enforcement, you don't talk about low and high crime. Anybody that has violated the law is subject to the law.
The Commission also reaffirmed its earlier warning to politicians not to drag it into politics ahead of the 2015 general elections.
Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has raised the alarm over the circulation of a fake letter purportedly from the Office of Chief of Staff to the President to the Commission to prosecute some leading political figures. The Commission in a press
some of you will recall that early this year,
Onwojerin says the purpose of the letter is to mislead Nigerians. The Commission enjoins all Nigerians to dismiss the fake letter and also showed what it described as the original letterhead of the Office of the Chief of Staff to the President, Jones Arubufa. And that's our news for this hour. Thank you so much for staying tuned with us. I am Gift or Gete.